Welcome to the Browns film breakdown film room. We have to keep it moving here in free agency. We got Quincy Williams up today and going to take a look at, just how he sort of fits what Devin Bush did in his time in Cleveland, obviously, what he brings to the table skill set wise, right? And then obviously we'll look at some film too. So if you just sort of specifically look at PFF grades, which kind of traces back to his time with Mike Rutenberg, right? And kind of the better performances that he was putting on tape. As you can see, the best 22 and 23 performances, especially in run defense. His 23 season in coverage, I think, was one of his best seasons. Now, the past two, especially 2025 as he got away from Rutenberg, right? As things changed, the Jets, new head coach, new defense, new structure, new plans. Obviously not the same fit, not the same player, but he's experienced as hell. And it goes beyond 2022, right? I just wanted to give you his four most recent seasons. You're talking 462 solo tackles, 116 assisted tackles, which is obviously great, 295 stop tackles. The coverage grades, again, year to year vary, but had been better in 23 and 24 in his time with Rutenberg before last season. And there are some concerns, I think, that will be played out here, but he has put together quality seasons in coverage. He has put together quality seasons in run defense. I think he will be able to do that. A player who plays fast, who plays aggressive, and really is on the field a lot, right? He was a third-round pick of the Jags, a small school product out of Murray State. So to be picked 98 out of Murray State, you have to put together some impressive numbers. Obviously, a very good athlete that I think shows up on field with his ability to click, close, and get where he needs to get. And I think the film will tell us a pretty good story. So I say we jump into the film right now, see what we think of Quincy. I got about 17 minutes of film. We'll push through relatively quickly, but I think you're going to like this football player significantly. So let's jump over there right now. All right, so we're going to more often than not see him playing Will. Wears number 56. That'll be the case throughout this, obviously. Went on a nice run the second half of the season compared to the first as he was getting comfortable with this new system. Obviously, you see he dealt with a hand injury as well, which led to a club being on that right hand for a giant portion of the early season as well. A really interesting physical pressure player. I think obviously Rutenberg will be drawn to him as a guy who can generate pressure on blitz looks. I think that'll be a common part of what he tries to do. Obviously here, mugged up over the A gap, obviously with a player right behind him trying to get creative, but he will blitz. He will blitz well. 15 pressures last year. I think he does well with closing speed, aggressiveness, obviously. Nice play there to create that sack. And again, I think not afraid to take on running backs and wear the contact, but we'll work around them as you see him coming off the edge right here, kind of trying to play it safe with this Lamar Jackson safe rush stuff you got to do. I wanted to pull all of his pressures. He is a smart enough player to figure out what he has to do at any given moment, obviously, to make the best play for the team. There are mishaps, I think, and some ability to stay disciplined at times. We'll talk through some of those, especially against play action pass. Again, just as a additional blitzer off the edge, I wanted to pull all of his pressures for you off of the right side of your screen here. Goes past Njoku, and then just I think Conklin, and this is kind of indicative of where the Browns offensive line is, trips over his own man, but that just bull rush into a sack that he ends up getting on that one. Nice work there getting past Njoku pretty clean, kind of blitzing from depth on this one right here. Boy, those Tampa creamsicle uniforms are the best. Kind of, again, that swim move right here is one I wanted to draw attention to as well. That little quick club swim to create the pressure, get the arm, create that fumble that happened on that play. So, again, double A gap mug. This is a look that they'll use with Schwartz defense. Physical, not quitting the play. Obviously, the running back does a nice job there. Rachaad White of stepping up and meeting him, but again, just kind of staying persistent, getting after the quarterback, and then being a part of what is a forced fumble as well. Here, mugging the A gap again on a longer looping stunt here, right? So you're going to get inside swim, inside move, and he's going to loop around here and try to create the pressure, do his job, right? Get home. Great job here. kind of has to close this corner a little tighter to get to Josh. And obviously Josh Allen then does what Josh Allen will do and create plays. But a good look at him inside of some of the stunts. The Browns want to use this big overload side. He's in the B gap right here to the left. And again, just willing to work around running backs in protection to get home, get the sack on that one, which you love to see. He plays with a lot of intensity, a lot of effort. A nice, again, more of a spot drop team in zone coverage. I think the Browns will do their share of that this year. But boy, when he reads out, processes quarterback eyes, he can break on the football, deliver a hit, forces that pass break up. Now, at times, I think the limitations are in pass defense. If he gets isolated here, he gets isolated in one-on-one with Chase Brown right here, Texas route, angle route, gets beat back inside. So I'm trying to give you a look at places he's struggled at times. And it's not bad coverage, really. I mean, he's right there on it, just has to get that left hand on the football. But these are the plays that lead to some of the coverage grades that you would see, right? Again, left side of your screen here, working against the tight end, job of getting that left hand on the football on that one to create the pass breakup. He can do this. He can play zone coverage. He can play spot drop, quarterback eyes, read concepts. Right side of your screen here, punching out, doing a great job of it. A disadvantage here. The Browns are on a concept that's going to take Quinshon Judkins, little roll out to the flat, and he's on the opposite side of this over here. So what do you want to see? Sort of that closing speed. Can he get there, make a play on this? Right? It's a pretty good job getting there, man, cutting that right at about the first down marker from a severe disadvantage. So I wanted to show you some of the speed and play there. Now the linebacker down here to the bottom of our screen right here, dealing with this little late motion punch out, tight end screen. Great job, great read, sniff it out, make a play in the backfield, tackle for loss. He can do those things. And a lot of this stuff does feel very similar to Devin Bush in a lot of ways, how he plays, how he takes on contact in man coverage on the running back on this one. And he's got a pretty good advantage here. He's got to fight through a block. He does a nice job of taking on the tight end, Cade Otton, right here to push this into the backfield, kind of blow this play up because he blows that block up. Nothing he can do about backside pursuit. And obviously the player gets out the backside there for a gain. But again, doing his job is not a problem. Now over the middle, he's kind of on the opposite side hash over here. So keeping our eyes on him again from the wide view. I'd like to give you some of these perspectives as well. In sniffing out screen, getting off Isaac Seumalo, free agent this year. Nice player at guard, sniffing that out. Obviously left side of your screen here. Right, bootleg. We need to get to that. These are just some examples in coverage where he's in man coverage. Got to get to it, can't fall down, right? Does get a flag thrown on that. But again, just giving you guys all the examples of his tapes here. Not going to paint any picture other than what we see, right? This is against Travis Etienne. Running the arc, he tries to go underneath this because this is stuff he'll be asked to do in Cleveland. You can't go underneath this because if you go underneath it, it's going to break out the outside, and this one turns into a touchdown, and he kind of quits the play. Not exactly what you want to see, and obviously I think some of the stuff that didn't do him favors with a new coaching staff, right? Sort of processing out the back. He did a nice job in this game against the Browns. Now, this isn't a very accurate throw to give Samson a chance to get upfield, but he does a good job read, react, and getting to backs. He will do that like green dog concept here, where if the back isn't out, he's going to go sometimes, or he'll just stay in coverage if the back does leak out. Again, a nice job being where he's supposed to be on that one against the Jags here. Now, a look at some coverage mishaps. He was given some coverage grades, and I think against play action pass, he is quite vulnerable in these moments, right? He's in cover two. The cover two defense here structure is going to call for very specific stuff, right? We're usually going to have a pull runner middle, deep half, squat corner, and then two hook players, right? Now watch him play vulnerable to this concept in the backfield from the Jags. He doesn't keep his eyes where they should. He's chasing the back left, even though we got a corner who's down to take care of this, right? And he ends up allowing this route to run right behind him for a pretty big chunk play, and then ultimately ends up being a touchdown, right? So against play action stuff is where we'll see some vulnerability. Now, again, this is just more of a backside lock concept. So we got a little zone to the front side over here, but he is manned up here and manned up here, right? Some people call this Meg. Some people give these other calls, tag it like Willie or something like that. He gets caught inside here, worried about an inside release, and then ultimately is dead in the water on that, deep rail route right there that ends up being what it turned into. So just again, some of the vulnerabilities and stuff that caught him in coverage, and I think the teams will try to do the same this year. Does a nice job on this one. It's this zone look, right? We are going to flow to punch out, drop underneath, sink, drop under, and he's wearing a club on that hand, so he can't ultimately pick it off. The club actually came onto the hand later in the year. I was wrong about that earlier. Again, good job there of sorting out the shallow from Jamar Chase, who sets up. He breaks on it. He knows that if he reads zone, he's going to try to hook up in the middle. Does a good job being there, breaking on it, right? Nice play. 3-by-1. He's down here against the back. Great job reading out. A lot of teams will run this back sells to the flat, and then they angle screen back inside of these tunnel blocks. He does a great job sniffing this one out, as you'll see right here, right? Sniffing this one out, getting downhill quick and breaking it up before it can get going. I think he does a pretty good job with screen reads for the most part. I like what I saw in that world. And I think against solo route outbreaker types, or these little Texas routes, or in breakers that you'll see back sneak out of the backfield on delays, he does a pretty good job on those, covering those. There's not much conflict. There's no run pass conflict. I think that's where he's really most comfortable. Down here to the bottom of your screen, getting caught in no man's land again, man, in cover 3. As you'll see him right here, he just chases too far forward. He should be in the hook zone. For some reason, he's not in that hook zone. I don't know what is taking him forward. That's his area. Again, completion. These play action concepts do give him trouble. You see him here. Now, this is tough. This is a 21 personnel, real run action, but this is his over route to cover. You'll see him punch out, try to robot technique and punch out under it, but can't get there in time, right? Boom. He actually does a pretty good job of seeking it out, but he does get beat over the top on that one. All right, down to the bottom of our screen right here. Again, I formation, 2-back look from Miami. Play action, bootlegging back. That's his side. If they're running cover 3, that's his curl flat, and he's inside chasing. You see the pulling guard, screws with him. He's chasing people. Lost in space. That is his zoned to fill. That comes up sort of frequently here. Again, punching into zone on this one. You see him right here. Middle of the field. Doesn't have a good feel, right? We punch out, boot out. Does not feel the dig behind him. He gets manipulated, gets thrown to him. Now, I don't think he's going to be in that spot all too often. I think that's going to be Swessinger, but just wanted to give you that example. Now, in a man coverage look against this heavy personnel from the Bills, he's responsible for the fullback here. So you're going to see him against Reggie Gillum, this little insert corner route, and he just loses him. Got to win those coverage reps against fullbacks. Got to win those coverage reps, man. Again, I formation. Now we're going to see some run stuff. All right. This is where I think he's pretty good, man. He gets physical. You're looking for 56. That was that little delayed draw. He gets physical, and he gets downhill and closes. Great job at times of making defenders, opposing linemen, fullbacks, tight ends miss. This is the part that I think they're drawn to with him. He can get places, man. He gets there quick. He can close. He can close down his gap. He can help clean up mistakes from others. As where, again, I think they see the value in his chance to be better in Cleveland than the contrary, right? Great job taking on 55 right here. The center's going to loop and pull. He's got to take it on right there. Great job maintaining, closing down, and then being right there for the back as he comes out of that concept, right? Downhill, just tight zone downhill. Look at that read and close. Boom, fall back, boom. I think he will play very well alongside Carson. I hesitate to say very well, like we know he's going to be the same as Bush, taking on the tight end of the backfield here. That outside shoulder free, keep him turned inside. Great job. He's got a chance to fill that void, I think, in a way that is going to be good for the value cost here. Watch him as the scrape loop around here, 56 out around. Boom, cut down Henry. It's clean, right? Fit that front side A. Excuse me, the fit for your fit and B on this one. Beat 77 to the spot. Out around, dip under. Now get downhill, shoot through the legs. Yeah, man. I can see the draw. I can see what they see. Again, now taking on Patrick Ricard in the B gap. Boom. Taking on, get rid of him. See that? Shed right here. Boom. Then shed him. Pull him by, get rid of him. Keep that arm free. Make a destructive play. All linebacker stuff that you like in the run game. Against I form, little toss sweep, right? Will Campbell's trying to get to him. Does a great job of just quickly shedding him, getting rid of him. Tackle for loss. On the right side of your screen here, tackle pulls, just boom, right through. Tight end's not going to get there. We're just going to beat him to the spot. Create tackle for loss. He triggers downhill. Once he reads it, he gets going. This is the stuff the Browns like. I just know they think this is where they can find a value replacement for Bush in a similar vein, right? Read, scrape over the top, right? We know he's not going to cut back there. Look how quickly he gets there and closes that down. How quickly he goes from here. Boom, over the top, shuffle down, boom. I mean, if you're watching linebacker tape and you're saying boom often, that means you're usually seeing a guy get downhill, fill his fit, and make plays on the football. There's against the guy he's going to be meeting during training camp, Quinshon Judkins, right? Great fit. Great fit. Out of the backfield here in gun with Jerome Ford, mugged up, right? Get across Conklin's face, don't let him hold you. Right? And he even has to take that rocker step because of the split zone look from Njoku. He's at a disadvantage, still gets off, gets down the line and makes the tackle. You're playing Mike. Late season here against the Bengals. Toss sweep. Look at that, man. He closes fast. It stands out immediately how well he closes. No eye candy on that one. Take on the guard. Hit it. I think he's one of the better run defenders on the market at the position. He does not get caught up in the mess. Backside tackles trying to get to him. Close. All stuff you love to see. 56 just to the right of the center on this one. Right? This is the one of the other view I was talking about in pass game. Play action is the biggest vulnerability in the game. And that's normally the case for guys who are very downhill happy, who are going to close quick. They're going to want to close quick. They're going to play it that way. Now, not a high volume of missed tackles. I wanted to show you all of them so you've seen them. I think he does a good enough job bringing defenders down. I'm not worried about it, but there are going to be situations where he does miss a tackle here and there, over pursue, not finish it. It is not, again, an overly concerning number, but it does come up. He's not infallible, as you see sometimes, just getting too far upfield, missing those tackles he needs to make at the point of attack. Those do come up. You'll see him 56 here, punch out, and then just doesn't get the angle, doesn't get him pulled down. And these are all charted as missed tackles, right? Some are more fair than others. He's lined up over the center on this one, right? We want to see him get backs down in that spot. Not perfect by any stretch, right? Off the right side of your screen here. He's got to be there for bounce. He cannot let Henry get outside of him on this one. Got to get him down. Now 22's got a historic stiff arm. You got to wear it. You got to finish the play. But that's, again, all the charted missed tackles you see, coverage mishaps I show you, right? The volume isn't crazy, right? Not all missed tackles are the same, but they do come up. It's not a perfect run game defender. He's not a perfect player in space. And I think at times, getting a little bit older, he does need to be cleaner with the angles, being more upfield at times. I think sometimes he can get caught thinking he can make a play he made in his younger years, right? We got to get these guys down because this is a play that should be a TFL, that we don't get him down and he ends up creating a big positive play for the offense there. So we need to get him down. Again, not as, and another one here playing Will, right? Great job getting there. Got to get him down ends up being what springs James Cook into the end zone on that one. So I think you could see why he's a mid-level linebacker in terms of the payout, the structure, the contract, right? I think you can see the parts that teams like. I think you can see where some teams don't think he fits. He's certainly not the most modern day heavy linebacker with pass protection. I think there are teams that will manipulate him. I think that will come up in his, week to week with the Browns. It'll happen. How often they put him on the field? Do the Browns get into more dime on those pass down sets? I don't know. I think he's good enough in pass downs to play. I do think he's good enough to be out there and play. It's the neutral downs, right, where he can get manipulated. That's the spot that I think you worry about a little bit, right? Otherwise, strong run defender, been good enough in clean tackle stuff here to not worry too much about that. With the missed tackles, I think those are good enough. And I do think predictable pass drops, he's good enough in those spots too, and especially not being asked to play Mike linebacker, being asked to play more of the will in this role, I think is what you'll see from him. But familiarity with the system, and I think familiar with how Rutenberg will coach it up. I'm excited to see him. But logically, for the cheaper price point, it makes sense for the Browns. And they got a player I am quite fascinated to watch, and one who stood out when watching the Jets and the Browns tangle the past few years, right? That's Quincy Williams. Appreciate you stopping by and enjoying this film room. We'll have more. We're going to get to Elton Jenkins next, so keep your eye out for that. Appreciate you guys. You know what we say. Go Browns.